Nowadays, it's getting harder and harder to achieve financial freedom. $100,000 used to be the big league. Now it's pretty much the bare minimum. According to Raisin, in terms of passive income, you need at least $100,000 on top of your salary as passive income to enjoy a comfortable life as a single person. And comfort here means free from mortgage, ability to travel a few times a year, eat out as often as you like, and be able to buy essentials without looking at the price tag. However, this might be harder than you think. In order to achieve $100,000 a year based on an 8% stock market return, you will need a whopping $2.5 million in cash. Now, I know that sounds very far from reach and impossible. However, all the people whom I know that have achieved this never got there earning the big money. They just mastered the skill to make the money work for them. In this video, I'll go through a 6-month system that I have followed myself that got me earning $50,000 more in just 6 months while spending less than 10 minutes a day. And I truly believe if you follow this system, it will allow you to fully transform your finances and put you on an express path to financial freedom. Now, a quick disclaimer, I am not a financial advisor. Everything I share here is just my personal opinion for education and entertainment. Always do your own research before investing. Let's start with month number 1, master your finances. Now, at the age of 18, right, I was spending a lot of money every single month. I pretty much spent however much I earned, and all because I wanted to appear rich, or at least to dress really nicely because I wanted to look good in front of other people. So overall, I cared a lot about how other people thought about me and was dependent on their perception. Now, how I really resolved this is a different story. Back then, right, because of my insecurity, I got into a situation where my parents were struggling financially. And since they were paying for my uni tuitions and fees, this puts a toll on their well-being. And even worse, because I got zero savings, I got no money to help my parents with tuitions and rent. I tried to work extra hours, but that was still not enough. It pains me so much that I couldn't do anything but watch them bear the financial burden. And that pain still stuck with me until today. And I knew if I had saved money and not just spent them on clothing and other stuff to impress other people, I could have helped them. I learned that when you spend money, you're not only buying happiness, you're borrowing freedom and wealth and happiness from your future self. And I understood that financial freedom is not only for me, but it's so that I can comfortably help take care and raise those around me. And I knew the key to financial freedom has to start with mastering your finances. What does mastering your finances even mean? Now, this means you start with reviewing your finances. Track everything you're spending this month. Now, first, you categorize them into 3 groups. How much you're spending on needs, how much on wants, and how much on savings and investments. The first month is all about record keeping and record tracking. Now, I use an Excel for myself where I review at the end of every single month, but I know a lot of apps out there that do the exact same thing, so do try and see what actually is the best for you. You want this process to be as seamless as possible and not for it to become a chore. Month number 2, clear out all your bad debts. But before that, if you guys are enjoying this video and would like more insights about stocks, personal finance, and more like this, make sure to subscribe and check out my newsletter below. Now, month number 2, clearing out your bad debts. So firstly, aim for a 40% savings rate. This means 40% of all your necessities and 20% for all your wants. Find a way to make this work. Move in with other people and live further away for cheaper rent. Eat at home more often and stop shopping for clothes and new hot stuff. Get a better and cheaper mobile and internet plan by going on Finder and finding the best alternatives. Review your subscriptions. And if you haven't used any subscription in the last 6 months, you probably don't need them. Just cancel them. Drink less alcohol, guys. It's bad for your health and it costs you a lot of money. And instead of eating out with friends, ask them out for coffees or have them over and cook at home together. Your goal eventually is to use your savings portion that you save up every single month to clear out all your bad debts like credit card debt and car loans, and having savings that equate to 6 months of your necessity expenses. Now, how that looks on a month-to-month basis is that the moment you receive your monthly paycheck, right, you pay out all your necessities, and any remaining amount, you immediately put them towards paying off your bad debt. And this should be your priority since these debts tend to have extremely high interest rates that you are highly unlikely to find an investment that can exceed them. So you might ask, how about my mortgage payments? With your mortgage payments, I would include them in all of your necessity expenses. Pay what you need every single month. Now, with all the things I've mentioned, you might think that you're sacrificing or depriving yourself from all the dopamine. But here's the truth you need to remember. The freedom and the lifestyle that you'll buy with this will be hundreds of times better than the small dopamines you get here and there in the short term. And of course, let's say if saving an extra 1.5k a month feels a bit too unrealistic for you, spread it across more months to make it happen. My 6-month system doesn't apply to everyone, and you can adjust them to suit your needs. Now, month number 3, have 3 to 6 months worth of savings. Now, after you've cleared out your bad debt, this doesn't have to be your month number 3. It can be your month 4, 5, or even 8, depending on how much bad debt you have and how much you actually save. And after this, you move on to accumulating 3 to 6 months worth of necessities expenses by allocating the 40% portion that I mentioned before into this account every single month. Now, you save 3 months if you have a stable income, and I recommend 6 months if you find things to be a bit shaky and not as stable. Now, here's the part that's really important. Now, most people tend to just stop their financial journey right after this step, and they just keep stacking cash in their savings account, but do not get stuck here. Savings will not get you to financial freedom when we live in a capitalistic world. You know what capital means? That means we thrive and we build and we make money based on capital. So things like stocks, real estate, and companies. Therefore, in order to actually grow your wealth, you need to start investing. Month number 4, start investing using your savings bucket. A lot of people often mistakenly think that investing is for later on when they are older or further down their career. However, the truth is that the earlier you invest, the bigger the amount of wealth you'll accumulate. And now that you have 3 to 6 months of emergency fund and savings, it is now time to channel any new and excess savings into investing and let the wonders of compound investing actually work. So you might ask, what is compound investing? Well, compound investing is when your investments earn returns and those returns themselves start earning more returns. So over time, this creates a snowball effect, turning small, consistent effort into serious long-term wealth. Let's break this down using the S&P 500, one of the most popular long-term investments. If you invest $1,000 a month into an ETF that tracks the S&P 500, which has historically returned about 8% per year, after 1 year, your investment will be worth $12,000. After 10 years, you've contributed $120,000, but your portfolio grows to over $182,000. Stay in for 20 years, and that $240,000 will turn into $494,000. And if you stick to the plan for 30 years, that $1,000 a month will turn into more than $1.2 million, more than triple the amount you put in initially. You read that right. $1.2 million from simply investing $1,000 a month and being consistent. And that's the power of compound investing. Time is your greatest asset. If you're in your 20s and you think you don't have enough money to invest, or it's too early for you to invest, wait until you see this. Let's say person A starts investing $1,000 a month at the age of 20. They keep going and going for 20 years and they stop at the age of 40. What's the total amount invested? $240,000. But at age 65, their account grows to over $2.5 million. Now let's move to person B. Person B doesn't start investing until the age of 30, right? They also invest $1,000 a month, but for 35 years straight until 65. And they invest way more, $420,000 total. And yet, they only end up with $2.09 million. So as you can see, even though person B had more money invested, but person A, the one who started earlier, still wins. And that's the power of compound interest and why time in the market beats timing the market. So for you, even if $1,000 feels like a stretch right now, start with what you can. Whether it's $500 or $50 a week, it's not about how much. It's about how long and how consistently. And remember, You don't have to pick individual stocks or time the market. A simple low fee index fund like VOO or IVV or VAS or A200 if you're in Australia, they do the heavy lifting for you, giving you exposure to 500 of the largest companies in the US market, and you can get started very easily investing in ETFs using different apps like Stake or ComSec Pocket. So start early, stay consistent, and let the compound engine run. Now you might ask, how do I even best invest? Well, there are many ways, but here's what I did to accumulate over $50,000 in just 6 months. Step 1. Max out your company benefits. What this means is to salary sacrifice into your super account using your company's pay. Super account is your retirement fund account, by the way. Max out your concessional contribution cap each year, and your contributions into here will only be taxed at 15% as opposed to your average 30 to even 47% tax rate. So overall, it's an extremely fast way to build wealth. And you can also have your company pay for your laptop and phone bill if your company offers it. Now step 2, once you've maxed out your super contribution, with your savings portion, invest into the broad market index funds using ETFs like I mentioned before. Now month number 5, plan on how to increase your income. Now is the time where you start planning to increase your incoming cash flow, either in your current job or doing another job on the side, or starting a side business. Let's start with what you can do at your current job. Now with a job, you tend to aim for 2 things, right? Either to learn or to earn. Ideally, you want both, right? But if you're not getting both, try and move on to a different job or a different company, unless the current job is giving you such a big pay that you can't find anywhere else, or the learning opportunity is extremely valuable for your long-term growth. If it's neither of that, negotiate a pay rise or move on to another job. Now, I myself have done this multiple times, and it has proven to be very effective, getting me a 50% pay rise in just 2 years. Now I do this by moving roles horizontally or diagonally, and it is a much better approach than vertically in the same field. This is because there's 10 times more jobs when you explore other similar fields rather than sitting and waiting for more senior roles to open up. So for example, Bob is a junior accountant at the firm. He's been working here for 2 years now, and he's been asking for a promotion to senior accountant. However, at his firm, right, there's only budget for 1 senior accountant, so he will only have this opportunity for promotion once the current senior accountant quits. This means it might take a very long time. Something else he can do is to look around on the job market and within his own company, but in different teams, and he'll see that there are a lot of other jobs like financial analyst or consultant that pay a lot more and have a lot more transferable skills. And this is exactly the way that I, as well as other high earning people, have done. You don't earn the big bucks by waiting for opportunities. You make money by finding these opportunities yourself. Now, however, if you're happy with your current role, you can still make more money. You can do this by perhaps working part-time in another job or having your own side business. Now, of course, you might say, starting a business costs way too much money. But now you can easily start a digital business with no money. Think of starting a TikTok channel and build audience so you can sell digital products like a template or a service to help other people. So overall, don't stress yourself out too much here. Do what you can. Any amount would help. Even $300 or $1,000 extra a month. Now, month number 6, automate your finances. Now, I'm not sure if you know, but there is something called decision fatigue. Now this happens when your brain reaches capacity after having to make way too many decisions in a short time frame. Once the brain fatigues, it leads to worse decisions made, and it will affect your lifestyle, like skipping your gym, bad diets, and it can make you forget what's truly important to you, may it be family or friends. And I assume you probably don't want to skip your kid's first football match just because you're too busy with work. So how can you avoid decision fatigue? You do this by automating as much of your decision-making process as possible. And you start with the basic of financial budgeting. For all your necessities expenses, set up an automatic transfer for rent, utilities, and debts, so all of these will be paid as the first thing when you receive your monthly pay. For all your savings and investings, do set up an automatic transfer to your savings account on the first day of pay, and another account for investing where you also automatically transfer the investing amounts the moment you get your pay. Now, a lot of micro investing apps actually have this, so check them out. And lastly, for your wants, do set up an auto transfer into a separate account just for fun spending so you can stay disciplined. Month number 7, evolve. At this stage, you have to be financially responsible. The next stage is to do a 180. So stop fussing too much about money and stop being too petty. Money is meant to serve you, not you serving it. The more limiting your beliefs are about money, meaning if you have a scarcity mindset, the less likely money will come to you. The richest people in the world do not get there by saving $5 a day on coffee. They get there through businesses and following a path that's truly meant for them. But here's what most people miss. Money should never be the end goal. Chasing money for its own sake will leave you feeling empty. Have you ever actually spent time and imagined the future after you got all the money you wanted? What really matters is what money actually enables. So freedom, impact, and the ability to take care of those you love and to serve others. Even in the Bible, we're reminded of this. For the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. It's not money itself that's the problem, but what happens when it becomes your master instead of your servant. You forget about the true reason why you wanted money from the start. Your family, your loved ones, or whether it's just a game to you. Proverbs 13:22 says, "A good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children." That whole verse is about building lasting value, not just wealth for yourself, but for generations. But if you are after money because you've always based your happiness on your comparison of yourself with others, please, do fix that first, and then you move on with your goal. Do not let money become your identity. Use it with intention, build it with purpose, focus on becoming someone of value, and then money will follow. Not because you chased it, but because you walked in alignment with your calling. Well, there you have it. Do let me know where you're at with your money goals in the comment section down below. And if you want to see more like this, make sure to follow my channel for more.